I welcome all of you for the next session of physics, second PUC physics, topic atoms, session 2. In the previous session, that is the first session, we learned what atom is. All matter is made up of atoms. So the size of the atom is about 10 to the power of minus 10 meter. The size is very, very less. It cannot be seen by any microscope. Therefore, we gone for the model concept to explain the atomic structure. The first basic model given by J.J. Thomson after the invention of electron, he himself gave, but that model failed to explain the Rutherford alpha ray scattering experiment conducted by Giger and Marsden and so many other phenomena. It has plenty of limitations. Therefore, so that model is given up. Bear in mind, a model, an atom, all properties of the matter or elements arises or basically from atoms. The birth of all properties. Therefore, atomic structure should explain whatever we see physically or experimentally, what results we will get should explain. Otherwise, that model is wrong. Atom cannot be like that. That is why that is given up. Rutherford himself gave one more atomic model, that is called Rutherford atomic model. It is also called planetary model. Okay? Right. Okay. According to this model, an atom consists of central positively charged nucleus and negatively charged electrons revolving around the nucleus. So the necessary centripetal force is provided by the electrostatic force, that is the force between the charges, unlike charges. So electrostatic force between the nucleus and the electron. The nucleus holds these electrons, attracts these electrons, that is why they will go around the nucleus. That is the concept of this model. So according to this model, the centripetal force is provided by electrostatic force. Therefore, so the centripetal force in the first PUC we derived this expression is given by mv square by r. M stands for mass of electron, v is the velocity of electron, r is the radius of the circular path or radius of the orbit. So that is provided by electrostatic force. So the electrostatic force between 2 point charges is given by Coulomb's law. According to Coulomb's law, F equals 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. Epsilon naught means permittivity of free space, then directly proportional to product of the charges, inversely proportional to square of the distance between them, that is q1 q2 by r square. So therefore electrostatic force is given by 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. q1 is nothing but Ze, q2 is nothing but magnitude Az. So therefore divide by distance square, that is r square. 1 r goes, we are left with this. mv square equals Ze square divided by 4 pi epsilon naught r. Okay? So then the kinetic energy of the electron as it is moving, so is given by half mv square. In the first PUC we derived this also, mass into velocity square. This mv square we can write it as, if we substitute, we will get this. So this is the expression for kinetic energy of the electron. Similarly, the potential energy of the electron, okay, so is given by potential energy of a system of 2 charges. We derived that also in electrostatics. The potential energy of the system of 2 charges is given by 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q1 q2 divided by r, distance between the charges. If we apply this expression to this system, that is potential energy of these two unlike charges is negative, it is given by 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. Q1, Q2 is minus, so divided by distance. Therefore, if you simplify this, the potential energy of the electron is given by minus Z square divided by 4 pi epsilon naught R. Okay? The total energy of the electron is given by the sum of kinetic energy and potential energy. If you substitute and simplify, we will get, you see, I have substituted, I have taken Z square by 4 pi epsilon naught as the common factor. Here I am left with half, here I am plus into minus minus, I am left with minus 1, half minus 1 is nothing but 2 is the LCM, 1 minus 2, it becomes minus 1 by 2. Therefore, for hydrogen atom, the Z value is 1. Okay, what does Z means? Z means atomic number. Okay, Rutherford himself, after studying the experiments of Goldstein, so he concluded that nucleus consists of protons. Nucleus consists of protons. So first we invented electrons, then we invented protons, positive rays. So positive charge is carried by protons. Then after that, James Chadwick invented neutrons, studying the isotopes. Okay, so nucleus consists of protons and neutrons. Protons carry positive charge of plus E. If there is one proton, positive charge, the charge of nucleus is plus E. If there are two protons, charge on the nucleus is plus 2E. So this Z signifies the number of protons present in the nucleus of an atom. Similarly, we have atomic mass number. The total number of protons and neutrons togetherly is called atomic mass number. We will take these things once again when we take up the next topic, nucleus. This is very important. All atoms are made up of these three basic particles only: protons, neutrons and electrons. All electrons are like, all protons are like, all neutrons are like, but atoms varies. Hydrogen atom is different, helium atom is different, lithium atom. So there are so many elements, so many atoms in the nature. They are arranged in periodic table, divided into different blocks, sp, df blocks of elements. What it varies from one atom to another atom? The number of protons, the number of electrons, the number of neutrons, that plays very important role. Number plays very important role. If there is only one proton, it is called hydrogen atom. If there are two protons, it is called helium. If there are three protons, it is called lithium. So make it very clear, that is atomic number. Okay, this number signifies what atom is. Similarly, uranium has 92 protons. The symbol is U. Okay. So make it very clear, for hydrogen atom, it is the first element of the periodic table. So it has only one proton. That is why Z value is 1. If we substitute Z equals 1, we are left with this. The total energy of the electron is given by minus E square divided by 8 pi epsilon naught R. Anyhow, this is the merit of Rutherford's model. Rutherford's model gives an expression for the energy of an electron in the orbit. Okay, this is the major merit of Rutherford model. Okay, so this is how we can derive an expression for the total energy of an electron using a Rutherford model. So after this, so the complication arises. So this model can be applicable only for hydrogen atom. What about helium atom, lithium atom? What about other atoms? Multi-electron systems or multi-electron atoms. How electrons are distributed around the nucleus? Rutherford model didn't have any answer. Does all the electrons move in the same orbit? I didn't know. Rutherford model failed to explain those things. It failed to explain the stability of atoms even. So then it failed to explain the different spectral series of hydrogen atom, that is Lyman series, Balmer, Paschen, Brocket and Pfund series. Okay? It failed to explain the atomic spectra of different elements. So then it failed to explain fine structure, hyperfine structure, Compton effect, Raman effect, Zeeman effect. All those things have been discovered experimentally, discovered and identified. So Rutherford model, as I told in the beginning itself, didn't explain all these experimental facts. Then what we can think? Therefore, this model is given up. Then some more atomic model is to be proposed. So by that time, in that juncture, so a Danish dashing physicist called Niels Bohr, he is very genius at that time. He came, he gave revolutionary thoughts. So to explain all these things, okay? So by that time, one more new model is given to the field of physics. That model is called Bohr's atomic model. Bohr's atomic model. He stated his views in terms of postulates. Okay? In the next session, we shall start with Bohr postulates. Please go through all those things very clear. Read the textbook, understand. If you find any doubts, again send through your WhatsApp group. Thank you.